Hello, everybody. My name's Matt Wood, hosting today with Marilyn, and we're here to talk to Deborah about her awesome company. Welcome, Deborah.
Thank you so much, Matt. Nice to see you again, Marilyn.
Tell us all about your company. Tell us about the name. I checked out your website. I'm so curious to learn more, but tell us about the company and you know, how you got going and the story behind what it is that you do.
Okay. I just like everyone else, when you're growing up, you have pets, and I always had a pet in my life, but never as an adult did I have to deal with actually a pet dying.
Mm.
And so I had a Devon Rex cat. It was my first Devon Rex cat, and I named her Diva. And she was absolutely beautiful. I'd never had Devons before. I'll never have any other kind, but I mean, I have in my life, but I just love Devons. And she was really sick. She was, anyway, it was palliative. And when we were at the end rushing her to the vet clinic to put her to sleep, because I knew it was time, she actually died in my arms on the way to the clinic in the car. It's one of those things. And okay, I'll try not to cry. And then I really wanted, like, when I had to deal with the cat now, I wanted her ashes. I'd never done this before. I wanted her ashes. I paid to have her cremated separately, and as you do when you want to take the ashes home. And I looked at what they had to offer there for her ashes, and I just didn't. I thought to myself, I thought it just looks as a reminder of death. I mean, urns have been around for centuries, and that's what they're for. So if it looks like an urn, there's ashes in there, and I didn't want that. And so I took her home in a scatter box, and I had her in my nightstand for a few years, actually. But I said to myself, I'll know what to do when I see it. And I started working with glass. I was doing lamp working, just making beads and jewelry, my daughter and I met some glass blowers, and I saw some of their, beautiful glass things. I said, hey, can you make me something like this? And I had something made and put my cat's ashes in there. And I knew that if I like that, and it's beautiful, it's in my living room, nobody knows what it is. They like it. Oh, that's beautiful. I go, yeah, Canadian glass artist made it. I don't have to tell them the Diva's in there, right? And so that's how it started. And when I was going to name it, a friend of mine sat down. We sat down with a bottle of red wine, and some cheese, as you do when you're brainstorming. And came up with Whisker Torium. And the logo actually came about on the second try. I said, I wanted it to say Whisker Torium. I wanted a big T, maybe some lines underneath. And so they did exactly that. And I'm like, oh, why don't you make the T like a cross and those lines like whiskers? And that's the second thing. It was like, boom, there it is. So, the glass artist has simply since retired. So the pieces on my website are collector's item now. They're all signed by him. And I have a prototype for something I'm going to manufacture that I'm very, very excited about, and other designs in mind. So it's just the beginning.
Wow. How awesome. What a great way of honoring your loved one, your fur child.
Yes.
And having them still with you, right? Having them more than just their memory, which I think is really beautiful.
Yes, they're close. And I think of her, and it's a beautiful reminder, not a sad one. The
Right.
energy of it is more beautiful. It's as unique as she was, right? Yeah.
So can people choose custom? I was going to say vase. What do you call
Whisker
what is it?
Torium.
Whisker Toriums. Can people choose custom ones, or is it the set ones which you, as you said, are currently on the site?
The ones that are on the site, yeah, are limited edition. They're all
Okay.
limited edition. And then the new ones that come out will be having different options for them to choose as well. So there is, like I said, new ones coming out. The ones that are on there right now, though, are one of a kind pieces.
Nice.
That's right.
Who's your target audience? Who tend to be the people that purchase these?
Do you have a pet?
I do have a pet.
Not every pet owner wants the ashes, you know what I mean? But for those who want to take them home, then they're definitely, families, males, females, anyone who owns a pet is my target client. And one thing I wanted to say is when they want to, like, a lot of people don't want to buy it until the time, but so that's why it's important to get the information out first, so at least they know it's an option. Because when you're faced with the declining health of your pet and you're at the vets and it's time, you're distraught, you're stressed, and you'll see the options they have there and you'll choose one of them, right? Because if you do not take the ashes of your pet separately, then they are mass cremated, and I didn't want that. I didn't want that.
That just sounds horrible. Imagine
know.
if, right? Just the idea of that.
And a lot of people don't know. That's why I wanted to get the word out too, because if you know what you need ahead of time, great. And you can also take your pet to the crematorium directly yourself, and it saves some money. You can have your pet euthanized at home if they're sick, and So that's what I did with my last Devon that I had that was older and passed away. We knew she was suffering, and so we had scheduled them to come to the house, and then she never left my arms until we took her to the crematorium. So it depends what people are comfortable with doing for their pets, and it just depends on the person, I guess, what they want to do, but at least they'll know the options, right?
I think it would also make a really nice gift. Like if I have a dear friend who I know, or a family member who I know their animal's sick, right? It could be a really nice gift for them to go, hey, keep their memory alive in a beautiful way,
Yes.
in the Whisker Torium. I think it's really nice. To answer your question, yes, I do have an animal. It's interesting. I'm transitioning over many decades from the British guy that I was raised as, right? Where, oh, it's just a pet. Move on, you emotional North Americans, to being like, oh, my cat, I love her so much, I couldn't live without her. And I've never actually thought about until I started to look into your company, Debra, about the idea of ashes, and what I would do. My cat's called Zoe, and I think I would. I think I would want, and again, not just in a generic, let's call it, or medical-esque box. I would want something special for her, right? So yeah, I think the idea is really intriguing for myself, who wouldn't normally kind of go down that path. I think for some people it's an automatic yes. But for me, I think the idea is really nice. It's really sentimental.
Yeah, I enjoy what I've done with the pets that I've had, and they're still with me. And like I said, no one has to know but me, right? And they don't. So it's a beautiful part of my decor. They were a beautiful part of my life and my house, So.
Well, I guess you have the option of sharing, right? Whereas if it is more of a classic, device or pottery, it's more obvious, right? Whereas this, it's your choice whether you want to share with that person, whoever that person is, what's within the Whisker Torium.
Yes.
What's your thoughts, Marilyn?
Well, the unique glass works remind me of the work of Dale Chihuly, who's somebody whose glass blowing I have admired for decades. And the other thing that came to my mind was something pewter, and Stephen Parks, who is in Sherwood Park, and he's an amazing engraver. And so what was going through my mind was, if it were pewter, Stephen could engrave it with anything you wanted, and that would be another way of making it very beautiful and very personalized. We had cats from the time my daughter was 2 until, oh my God, she was 24, I guess, when we had 2 that overlapped. At 8, she said, I want a kitten. I said, you already had a kitten. She had a cat for 6 years. I was a kitten then myself. I don't remember was how she put it out. And we wound up we had Taffy, who was a tabby, orange and white. And the next little one was a gray and white tabby with 4 white feet that she named Socks. And it breaks my heart to think about having lost them. But what I did find a while after, there weren't the options that there are today. But I was working at the University of British Columbia at the time, and there was a theological college there that had this gorgeous, beautiful building that had all kinds of glass windows, and it had a library, and the library had a gift department. And in the gift department, I found these English bone china mugs, just, it's a cylinder with a handle, but the picture that was enameled onto it was an amazing library shelf. And in one of them, there was an orange and white tabby, and I found another one that was like Socks. And those 2 mugs are front and center in my china cabinet to this day. I totally understand where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. And I think it's quite wonderful.
Yeah, they have such personalities, right? And so, yeah.
When you take care of something, I'm house sitting with some friends who have a miniature French
bulldog.
Oh, bloody hell! I forget the proper name for her, but she's just this little compact thing with a mind of her own, named Bella, and she's got so much personality, and she's so in control. Like, she really runs her own life, right? And you think that she's, for 8.5 years, they have had the privilege of sharing this life with them, with their kids growing up. And it is something to keep in memory, not just to close a book and walk away. So I think what you're doing is various, and not just satisfying for you, but I think it brings a lot of solace to the people that you are helping. And that's a wonderful gift.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very dear to my heart, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned a little bit earlier about like what's next. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about where you see the business heading, or where you'd like it to move into beyond where you currently are?
I want to be able to help more people, and I got some designs, some creations in my mind that I actually sat down with a graphic designer and we designed one, and I have the prototype here in the house. So I'm getting ready to launch that one. I don't know. Do you think we should show people what it is?
That'd be beautiful. Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm going to take you with me.
We're going on a journey.
We're going on a journey.
Road trip.
Road trip, yeah. Yeah. Let's see my beautiful plant.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a Whisker Torium there. That one's spoken for. It's got someone's name on it. So I have these in 2 sizes and different colors, but I'm just going to show you one. To walk back to the table. So that's the case that it's in, right? It's velvet.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's a nice velvet case. Right. So yeah, with the hinges.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, indeed.
This is a small one, and then it has like a piggy bank closure, so you just would undo it and there. So then it just sits in your house, and like I said, no one has to know what it is but you. So I have this in red with like a pewter, like a stainless steel base. This is like a matte black. So there's different ones that we can do like that as well. So yeah.
Wow, that's really beautiful. It's really special.
So that's going to the next wave, and I have some garden ideas, and
Oh,
like
interesting.
made of brass that will patina outside and just be a beautiful addition to your garden. And again, no one has to know what it is but you. Yeah. You just say,
You
"Oh,
see, you seem to have a very creative background. Would that be a fair statement?
it's kind of funny because I have an IT degree. So I have the logic side and the creative side. So yeah.
Right. Left brain, right brain.
Yeah. But yeah, I like to be a bit creative, but yeah.
That's awesome.
So do you see yourself talking to florists and other, kind of businesses like that where people could see that and get an idea and go back and actually have them stocked on the florist shelves, for example?
I never thought of a florist, Marilyn.
Well, I'm just picturing in my mind of a florist that I know. One happens to be in Ladner, just a few miles outside of Vancouver. Mm-hmm. And while they have lots of beautiful, beautiful blooms, I bet half of their business at least is by the other things that they are selling off of the shelves. Mm-hmm. And they might be vases, they're not just knickknacks, so they tend to be things that are useful and house something. Yeah. And so it just seemed to me logical. Or even a shelf in a novelty store, not to take it lightly, but you're having beautiful works of art created. And yes, you'll need a website, and yes, you'll have somebody doing that social media marketing for you and all of that. And of course, WRN can help you with that, as you well know, from being inside that tent. But the broader picture, I think, is having started something that has a huge impact on the lives of the pet owners and their children, for example, too, because you're teaching one's children how to deal with grief, as opposed to sweeping it under the carpet, so to speak, no pun intended. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's a different way of approaching the marketing to take it more to people. Mm-hmm. Talk to your favorite vet who has doubtless got shelves of stuff in his waiting room, and ask them what they do. Interview a dozen vets, and you will find at least 3 who will say, "I think I can do this. I'd like to try this." Yes. And it will grow. I would look at it from that perspective, because it's what you're doing is such a beautiful gift. But now that you're starting to have prototypes, you can mass produce them. And when you've got the ability to have more than one of anything, you've got the ability to develop your market. And nobody's doing that.
I know. And that's what I want to do. And I want to make sure, that we're giving back to help animals in need. So I envision a website with a thermometer on it that measures the levels of, money that we've given back to, humane societies, et cetera, in the country to help people. And it's funny that you mentioned.
Decide what percentage of every one of your pieces that is going directly to something that has to do with pets.
Yes, exactly. And I also have something to help. I have something to help families as well. And it's a book by Rita Ann Freeman. And we give it away. I asked her if she wanted me to help her republish it, and sell it to people. And she just said, well, you can give it away. And it's called Bosco and the Rainbow Bridge. So I think you've all heard about the poem, The Rainbow Bridge. It was created after the book. And so what she talks about in there is actually a true story that happened to her about, her dog Bosco that came to her in a dream and said that he was waiting for her by the Rainbow Bridge. And so, that'll bring some comfort to children, to know, because pets' lives are shorter. And, I see a lot of pet owners that say, I will never have another pet. They're so devastated when their baby dies, right? Or crosses over the bridge, I guess I should say, that they don't want to go through that heartache again. And I just say to them that your beloved pet was so blessed to have you in their life, to be able to spend their life with you, because I know they love them so much. And it's a blessing for you, for any other animal that comes in your life, to experience the love you have to give. So don't be afraid to love another animal, because you're withholding your gift to these beautiful beings that can be in your life, right? So yeah,
That's wonderful.
I wanted to, how companies, like when you're at a trade show, you want to have something to give away people, like if it's a pen or a magnet or something. For me, I ended up going to a promo company and getting tissues, because everybody cried when they, you know what I mean? Because you have so much love and emotion for your animals that crying was very often. So I would be able to give them a little package of tissues to take with them. And yeah, it was very heartwarming to, be in that kind of energy of the animal human connection.
Have you done any, a good friend of mine, or numerous friends are teachers, have you ever gone into schools and taught the kids about how to deal with their emotions when an animal passes? That could be a really interesting one, with like helping them learn, don't really, it's not a sales pitch, you're not talking about your product, but you leave them a brochure with that information, and it's from you, so the parents learn about you and all of that kind of stuff. So down the line, when they're ready, they'll look into your product. That could be a really interesting one to help kids and parents. As I said, especially where being that classic UK man, right? There's a lot of adults that I think who can learn to be, or given some direction on how to mourn appropriately, right? Or how to express those emotions when their animals, even before it passes, right? When their animal's sick, right? And how do you prepare for the passing, right? For them to go on that next journey of their lives.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Beautiful idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the more that kids can learn about emotions at school and learn how to express them, right, the better the world will be.
Yes, and it's a part of life. And for those who have animals in their life, their lives are shorter, and that's just something we have to enjoy while they're with us, and realize, take the good, loving things, and know, it's not forever, but it's beautiful while you have it, right?
Well, I want to give my cat an extra big hug tonight.
Yeah, I have two Devons again, Luke and Peaches.
Nice.
The girl is Peaches. She's really funny. Yeah, she's an escape artist. Yeah, flight risk. I take her outside, but I put a harness on her with a leash just so I can keep track of her. Like, I have to be out there. I can't take my eyes off her. But she loves to sit in the grass. I just wish she wouldn't try to jump over the fence. She's funny. But yeah, I really enjoy them. So,
what's the best way for people to get hold of you? Find out, what's your website address, and what's the best way for them to contact you, Debra?
The website is whiskertorium.com.ca. We'll take you both to my website. The email is, well, whiskertorium@gmail.com. My phone number is on there as well. So any of those ways work for them to get a hold of me. So it's pretty easy. I'm on Facebook as well and Twitter. There's lots of pictures on Twitter and Instagram. I'm on there too. And even in LinkedIn. So I've got all the social media things done. And just like I said, looking for launching this, getting the pieces in place so we can bring this out more, right?
Do you have a name for that new product?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
Maybe I should have a contest.
That's a good idea. It's a really good idea.
To name it. Yeah. Yeah, because all the other ones I named them after the colors and the feeling from the glass. But yeah. This one's cute. I like this one.
Well, thank you for your time, Marilyn. Was there anything else you would like to ask before we wrap up?
Oh, I'm just thank you, Matt, for leading the fray here, and congratulate Debra on what she's doing, because it is so evolved and it's going to make a difference in so many people's living experiences.
Thanks, Marilyn.
Congratulations.
Thank
You're
Thank you
welcome.
very much. So everyone go check out, it's whiskertorium.com. whiskertorium.com. Thank you, Debra. Thank you, Marilyn. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, over and out.
you.